Happy Thursday and welcome to Darlinda Tracy TV, another video. I'm proud of myself. This is 4 in a row in 1 week. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. Hopefully you'll have a great weekend coming up. This is hump day, hump day, hump day. So hopefully you have amazing plans for the weekend. I'll be somewhere, I'm not sure. I'm out of town somewhere warm though. I do know that. And on a beach, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, welcome to my channel. It's lighthearted over here. We just discuss different topics, no judgment, no drama, and no politics over here. Okay, so if you're trying to get away from the rest, come on over here for a bit and let's discuss real quick, because they won't be long videos, just quick discussions. But I do want you guys to get in the comments. Tell me your thoughts, please. So I had a list of things that I plan on discussing. And what I'm going to be discussing today was on my list for much later on. I was going to talk about something else today, but I moved it up because I saw something on this good YouTube that just made me want to do this video earlier. So a very popular YouTuber, I will not mention their name or whether it's a he or a she, because like I said, I don't want the smoke. This is no drama over here. This is drama-free, stress-free over here. I'm not trying to get into nothing with nobody. And everyone is entitled to their opinions, but sometimes opinions can be wrong or not exactly, you know, it's everyone's viewpoint, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyway, this popular YouTuber said that at 40, if you do not know what you want to do, you might as well, and I don't want to repeat the words because I can't even physically say it, not exist, basically. He didn't use those words, but it was harsh. At 40? Really? They also said that you cannot pivot in your 40s. You cannot change careers. You cannot decide what you want to do in your 40s. You should already have done that. That's what your 30s are for. At 40, there are basically no excuses. You're doomed. So, of course, the people came in the comments like, I'm 50, I'm doing this, I'm going to law school, I just started on my master's, I'm getting my PhD, what are you talking about, I'm doing this or this. So then they proceed to say, look, I'm not saying it can't be done, but it is the exception, not the rule. Those were their words. No, honey, it's the rule, not the exception. Nowadays, it is extremely more common than not that at 40, someone is starting over. Whether it's a relationship, a marriage, ending it, a new career, going back to school, figuring out what you've been doing all this time doesn't serve you, figuring out that at 40, you're going to be retiring soon, like you're thinking about the next 20 years, is what I'm doing going to help in 20 years in my retirement, or do I need to do something else to secure that I do have a good retirement or future at 60 something? So no, that's the age where really you start making changes. And so of course, you know, I got to add my story in there and what I did, but I was just shocked that someone, and they're in their 40s, this person, and they're set in what they do, and it does very well for them. So kudos. Maybe you would never have to pivot. Maybe this is it for you. You have secured everything you need, but that's not the case for everybody, okay? And then some people have. They're content financially, or they're set up in a way at 40, but they just want to do something else. It's nothing wrong with that. As long as you have breath and life, you can do whatever you want to do. Now there are physical restrictions. Like I can't be a Olympic gymnast now. That's just physically is impossible. But within reason, when it comes to education, when it comes to careers, as long as your mind is working and functioning and you're breathing, you can do it. Why would you give up at 40? That just sounded so crazy to me. It really surprised me that anybody could think that. And I know everyone is entitled to their opinions. You know, social media is all about people posting their opinions, and it's why I don't do a lot of social media. I left TikTok a long time ago. I'm not on X, formerly known as Twitter. My Facebook is deactivated. My Instagram is deactivated because basically I got tired of opinions. People just talking and saying things. I got tired of relationship advice, telling everybody what they should do, what their relationship should look like. It was just a lot. And typically I'm one that I love to debate. I'm a great debater. I like intellectual conversations. But nowadays, debates can turn into something else. Debates can lead to, like, you have to be careful nowadays what you say because they can go bad real quick. So I just stay in my own lane and whatever. But over here, we're open-minded. And so let's talk about it. Let me tell you my story and what I did in life. So I was a cosmetologist for 30 years. At the age of 18, I graduated high school. I went straight and got my license straight like the week after graduation because I took classes while I was in high school. My 11th and 12th grade, I got all my hours, the credits I needed. Passed the test, got my license, immediately start working in the salon. Now, in high school, before I got my license, I worked at a salon as a receptionist. It was a local salon called Sheer Illusions. They were really big at the time. Shout out to Benji, Anthony, and Vincent, my mentors. I learned so much from them, but that was just my calling. I always played in hair. I did my mom's hair at a very young age. We moved to a new state and I told her she couldn't find anyone to do her hair. So I was like, Mom, let me cut it. I can do it. And she looked at me, I think I was in the 8th grade. She was like, can you? And I cut it. Did her hair ever since. I did my friend's hair. I did people in school. I would get out of school because I had a pager and clients would page me while I was in school, set up appointments. I would go use a payphone, call them back, set up an appointment. They would be at my house waiting for me. My mom would have my stuff set up in the kitchen and I was taking clients. So when I started working in the salon back then, I was on commission. I started on commission because the salon that I was a reception at, I found myself doing a lot of work for them because at the time there were things that they couldn't do that I was really good at, like finger wave and a lot of the styles that were popular back then. You know, I was young, so I knew how to do them all. So I was doing most of their work for them. I was prepping their clients, doing all this. And so they offered me a job, but I saw their paychecks. And although for back then it was good money, I knew the money I would be bringing in and what I would be doing and what they offered me. I just was like, no, I do better off on my own. So I did commission, and I think it was maybe 70-30 or was it 60-40? It could have been like 60-40, something crazy like that. Well, those first 3 weeks, I was giving this woman so much money in percentage. It was more than what booth rent would have been. So from that point on, I rented a booth. And so booth rental is just like renting a space. It's like having a salon suite, but it's different. You don't have your own suite. It's just a space you rent. You pay weekly for that space, but you're self-employed. You work for yourself. So you're paying your own taxes. You're paying your own health benefits, your own supplies, everything. They just provide a chair and a space. But all the other equipment you bring in, except for like blow dryers, shampoo bowls, and things like that, they already have there. So I went into booth rental. Did that for 30 years. It took care of me. I never had to get a side job. I never had to supplement my income any other kind of way because I always was able to support myself off the salon, working, doing hair. I got into commercial modeling much later. Actually, I was in my 40s when I signed with an agency. That's a whole nother story. I'll tell that later. But I guess that's part of the story too, because I was in my 40s. And I reached out to an agency, sent them some pictures. They contacted me. I went in, I got signed a contract. I've done all kind of commercials. I've done print modeling. I'm still actively working at this grown age. I just did a commercial that has aired locally. Everyone has seen it. It actually even aired during the Super Bowl, so I'm very proud of that. But anyway, this is what I've always done, what I've always known. Now, as the years progressed, a lot of my friends in this industry start pivoting. They all about the age of 45, because we all started so young, either started having problems with their hands or other physical issues, life start lifing. A lot of them, one became a dental hygienist. I have a couple that went to nursing school, became nurses, or teachers, or in some kind of other profession. They went to a whole new career. Some probably still did hair on the side, maybe opened a shop at home or whatever, where they did a few clients, but they eventually did something else. So I knew it wasn't that I got burnt out, but I knew it wasn't sustaining me like it used to. I wasn't really doing the things that I needed to do to kind of revamp or keep up with what was going on. Because at this time now, we got the social media stylists, we got people working out their homes. No one's licensed. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, because there are still a lot who are licensed, but many aren't licensed, but they're advertising, they got their books open. They're getting clients, and the lace fronts are started happening and everything else. And I didn't get into that field. So I'm thinking, what else can I do? I was nervous. I was very afraid. Here I am at this age. I was 48, about to start over, trying to figure out what it is. So I'm thinking, I know what I want. I want something that pays well. I want something with good benefits. I don't want to have to pay taxes anymore. I would like a refund for once. And once in my life, can I get a refund instead of paying out? I want to go to work. I want to come home, and I don't want to worry about the day. I don't want to bring work home with me. I just want to work, come home. That's it. I don't want a 9-to-5. I don't want corporate America. I don't want that. So I'm trying to figure out. So COVID hits and I'm thinking, okay, what can I do that no matter what happens, what industry is not affected? The healthcare. So I'm thinking, okay, let me go into healthcare. I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to, but what about pharmacy? I'm interested in medicine. I can become a pharmacy technician. So I went online, got my certification, worked in a pharmacy for a few months, liked it at first, but I realized it still was more of a confinement. And it was a lot of favoritism and other things going on. And here I am, I'm coming 30 years off of doing what I want to do, working when I want to, and set my own thing and doing whatever. But I did like the benefits that I was getting. I did like the healthcare benefits. And it was a good company as far as benefits and things like that. But I was like, okay, no, this isn't it. So what happened was, it kind of fell in my lap. A friend of mine asked me to come to her house, and she says, I am doing a video interview. Could you come over and style my hair and help me with my makeup for my video interview? So I said, okay, I'll do that. Even though I'm retired, like I'm not trying to do no hair on the side. I'm done. I had to tell everybody. They tried to force me out of retirement. I'm like, y'all, I'm done. I'm not doing hair anymore. And I went to her house, and she said, yeah, I'm interviewing for an airline to become a flight attendant. She says, how about you apply? I'm gonna send you the link, and we both can just fly together. It would be so fun. And I had never thought about that. It never even crossed my mind. Well, I take that back. it came up in discussion throughout the years. A friend of mine used to tell me all the time, you ever thought about going with the airline, you know, travel benefits and da. But I never quite knew how to go about it, how to really apply. I never looked into it. So here it was, like, really laid in my lap. And so she sent me the link. I applied. I got hired. Well, actually, so all this happened, it's like that happened right at COVID kind of starting, the very beginning. So I got hired. The process was a lot. It was a long process, and it was a lot of interviewing. I interview very well, and I'm also very good at assessment tests. So you do have to take an assessment test. It's hard for people to get hired. A lot of people don't get hired the first go. They have to apply several times before they hired. I was fortunate that I got hired on my first go. Went to the face-to-face interview. The guy told me, he says, the recruiter said, I knew when you walked in with that blue suit on, you would have won. So I got hired on the spot. Came back home, was ready. I had left the pharmacy, you know, told them, look, I'm out, peace. And I was just waiting to go to training. Well, I was supposed to start training in April, and everything shut down. And at the time, we didn't know how serious it was. So, you know, they said, well, we're just going to push it back 3 months. 3 months turned into 6, turned into 7. Eventually, I got the email saying that all job offers were rescinded and they were no longer hiring. So I was like, you know, I guess it was not meant to be. Let me go back to the drawing board and see what I want to do. I actually was on vacation in Honduras when I got the email where they asked me, was I still interested in being hired? Because when things opened back up, travel went like crazy. Everybody's stuck in the house. Everybody wanted to go everywhere. And so they needed flight attendants. And I was thinking that, I said, now, are we going to have to go through this whole process again to get hired? It would seem like it would save them time just to bring back the people they had already hired, and we would not go through that again. And that's exactly what they did. They reached out to me, said, if you're still interested, come back, just do a drug test again and go to training. So the drug test was like the same week. I'm in Honduras, and at the time you couldn't come back to the States without getting tested for COVID. And so I had to get a test, and I was just praying, oh, please don't let me test positive, because I won't be able to make it back and I can't go in time for the drug testing and the fingerprinting. But I tested negative, came back to the States, got everything I needed done. I was cleared, went to training for 6 weeks, and I started my new career. And it has been absolutely amazing. Now, back in the day, from what I hear, there used to be an age limit to become a flight attendant. So when I told people, which I didn't tell a lot of folks what I was doing, because sometimes it's best to keep things to yourself until you finish. So a lot of people didn't even know what I was doing. They just knew I kind of disappeared, was gone. And I kept telling my mom, stop telling people, because I got to pass first. Like, what if I come back home and I didn't? But she was so proud of me. But even my mom first asked me, she said, aren't you too old? Do they hire flight attendants like, people kind of looking at me side-eye like, is she crazy? What's she talking about? But no, the oldest flight attendant was 65 at training. There were plenty of 50-year-olds. There were a lot of women who had raised their children, who had retired from corporate America and decided that this was their dream career they've always wanted, and now was the time that they could do it. So there were a lot of us there, a whole lot, which helped us because this is a job based on seniority. So I actually got first dibs. Well, I was not first because the older women were first, but I was at the top of first dibs of what base I wanted to be at. So I got the base I wanted. I was able to come back home because of my seniority and my age. And the career has been absolutely amazing. I am 5 years in. I absolutely love what I do. It's stress-free. I know people thinking, how can you deal with people? I've never had a problem with people. People gonna people. You gotta let people, and you gotta let the people who handle that. The authorities that handle peopling, let them take care of that. That's not my job. You know, I'm gonna do what my job is. I'm gonna worry about your safety. I'm gonna make sure you get your snacks that you want. And I'm gonna give you good customer service. And then after that, I'm coming home and I'm gonna sleep well. I have been places that have been on my list of places I wanted to visit. I've been to every single last place. I get free travel benefits. I can hop on a plane and go anywhere around this world that I want to go. I'm not micromanaged. There's not a boss hanging over you telling you what to do. I encourage people, pursue this career. I mean, if you don't mind flying, you know, some people just don't like to fly. I don't mind flying. Once you put years in and you're able to control your schedule, I work when I want to work. I'm able to go where I want to go, the trips I want to go on. The longer you're here, the more seniority you have, the more you can control your schedule, where you go. We're off a lot. I know people think, well, you're gone all the time. I have about half the month off, sometimes more than that. Some months I'll have 20 days off. Some months I'll have 3 trips, sometimes 4 trips. In November, I think I flew 1 4-day trip the whole month. Really, it is, in my mind, one of the best jobs. And if I had let the mindset that I couldn't do it, it's impossible, or I'm too old to start over, I would be stuck in a dead end position where I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what way. I mean, I know I would figure it out. I would have figured something out because that's just what I do. But if I had let people stop me or tell me that I couldn't, because trust me, there were some naysayers. That's why I didn't tell a lot of people. You know, they were, flight attendant? Can you do that? And even now, I meet women who I encourage them. They ask me all the time, am I too old, or am I too short? Or no, all those things are gone now. We can do that now. You can be a flight attendant. So I bought a house last year. I closed last May. This is coming May 9th will be a year I've been in my house. I absolutely love my home. I no longer have to pay taxes. Their refund is lovely. I have a 401k. I have great health benefits. Now, it's not to say that life can't happen and things can change tomorrow. I'm just thankful for where I am now. But we know the way things are looking out here, things can happen. So we always have to keep our minds open and adjust to new things, and know that you're not a failure. You have not failed in life. It's never too late as long as you have breath, okay? So that's my message today. That's my story. Thank you for coming back again, all my lookers, likers, commenters, and subscribers. I've gone over the amount of time I really wanted to. I wanted to keep it 15 minutes or less, but I'm gonna stop it here because I can go on and on and on. Maybe I'll do another video talking about the modeling, the lifestyle modeling, which I absolutely love. But anyway, you guys have a great day, great week. Peace.